Hello and welcome to level, I forgot already, 58 of the Thoughts and Players podcast, the game podcast with bold takes and no strings attached. I know we literally just said it. I am Jeremy here once again with my two compadres. Of course, I have David.
What up?
And I have Cory.
Hiya, players.
Hiya, players. Hello, everyone that's joined. Glad that you're listening and tuning in. We see we're getting some love on the YouTubes. Nice little uptick on views there. We appreciate that. That tells us that we've been doing a good job improving the visual experience of the podcast. So,
you have. So
yeah, the nice setup you got us looks a lot better.
Yeah,
we're the talent. You're the behind the scenes.
Okay.
Master.
Well, we very, very glad to see that you guys are enjoying that, and apparently enjoying the new and improved podcast format we have going. So this is a conversational bit. We did the game last time. Again,
who won that one?
Unfortunately, you won that one. Unfortunately, very unfortunately.
We do have an announcement about the PvP, right? Like next week, it's going to be. Go on, you can tell them.
Next week, we will have, in order to correct the mistakes I made, we will have a special judge joining us. So yes, it will be PvP VP, if that makes sense.
And who's the judge?
The judge will be Big Beard Josh.
And how's he related to any of us?
He is my cousin. He is my flesh and blood.
Gotcha. Just making sure
he is a impartial, objective party to this party. Okay. So I'm sure he will be fair. He will hopefully not make the same mistakes David and I have made.
Josh makes him a huge mistake.
So instead of like DP, it's TP now, right?
I can't wait for the civilization question and the computer parts question.
Right. Yeah, that'll come. Yeah. Looking forward to that. But until then, let's talk about some games, guys. So you've been playing them, hopefully, at least a little bit. Play a little bit. What have you guys been playing, man? Who wants to start us off?
Okay.
Yeah, I'm okay.
David, taking charge. Much like he slammed you a couple episodes ago. He slammed you there. David, go ahead.
The split for the season happened on Tuesday for Apex, so I've been climbing back up and then again. And that's about it, really. Quick and simple. That's why I decided to jump on first.
Not bad.
Go ahead, Cory. Go ahead.
No. I'm interested in Apex. You talk about Apex all the time, obviously. Yeah. I'm very intrigued. How good are you, David? Would you say you're above average? Would you say that you're almost like up in the upper tiers of players?
No. But above average. I'm like, if you look at like the best person, and then you look at the average player, I'm like a quarter above the average player.
Okay.
Like I hit diamond sometimes, most of the time, but that's as far as I go.
Okay. So your range is above average to good.
Yeah.
Okay. I was just wondering. I'll go now. I got a new game. I said I would try to beat the games that I buy before I play new ones. That hasn't been happening. The podcast is a bad influence on my gaming habit because I just buy new games because I want to talk about new games. So I bought RE4 Remake. David, I know you bought this as well. You haven't really got into it. You're all in the Apex right now, but if you want to chime in with the little bit that you did play, you definitely can. RE4 Remake is great so far. Like graphics, first off, the RE engine is just like magical. All three of those remakes have looked amazing, and RE4 is no exception. It's just a really good game. I played RE4 originally for the first time in 2019. That was the first time I'd ever played it. So it's actually, I'm a very scared gamer, very scared. So what happened was RE2 Remake was coming out, and I have fond memories of that when I was younger. So I'm like, I want to play that, but I should kind of get myself in the RE mode. So I bought 4, played it, realized that wasn't even really scary, RE4. This one's a lot scarier in my opinion. Like the realistic graphics really is like, oh, things are happening.
It helps put you in there, yeah.
Yeah, it definitely does. But great game. No, is there something for pre-ordering?
Yeah, like you get different filters. So like there's like villain filter where everything is like a red tone, and then there's like a grayscaling where everything's more like grayish and black. And then you get like character costumes. There's like a villain costume for Leon, and there's like a normal costume for Ashley and Leon, and there's some little cool stuff that's not necessary.
Yeah, I didn't, unfortunately. I would have liked to, actually. I do like when games kind of give you filters and stuff like that. But yeah, just want to talk about how good of a remake it is and how good Resident Evil 4 in general is. So like I said, a couple years ago, I played it for the first time. So a lot of it's still in my memory banks, like a lot of the engagements and stuff. But I think RE4, what I kind of want to shout out, it does an excellent job of prepping you for these big, these big fights. So like you go around and you do these little encounters, and the whole time you're grabbing like 10 handgun ammo and 5 shotgun and 3 rifle. And you're like, man, I have 60 handgun, I have 20 shotgun, 10, sniper rifle. I'm doing good. And then you get to this big arena where there's just dozens and dozens of the guys. And by the end of it, you're like, I have 6 bullets total. And it just really feels good to like kind of feel that pressure of like, do I have enough bullets? But you always do. You do have enough bullets, but it always makes it really, really close. The original RE4, it was a stop and pop sort of game where you could not move while you were shooting. They've changed that around where you can move. It's very slow movement. You're not running and gunning. Like you can kind of like strafe backwards, forwards, and side to side. I'm really missing a dodge button because there is no dodge. So I'm having a real hard time with like when they're throwing hand axes at you. Like I just can't get out the way. So I'm taking like axes to the face every couple minutes in encounters. So, but it's a good game. David, I can't wait for you to play more of it because was this your number one RE game? I can't remember. It was. So it was your number one RE game of all time. I know they got rid of a few things. I don't know if you know the differences. No, he does not. He's fixing audio right now. But yeah, great game. Jeremy, do you have any? You never played the original at all, or have you?
The original RE4,
or like any, or yes, or like
was that the GameCube one?
Yeah.
Okay.
You don't have to have played the GameCube. I'm talking either like the Wii one or the PlayStation, like any of them that came out afterwards. Just not the remake.
Yeah, it eventually came out on everything, but it started on the GameCube, I believe.
Yeah,
I definitely did.
After GameCube, no.
But you did play the GameCube one.
I played the GameCube one, but I'm saying after that one, I haven't touched an RE.
Okay. Any interest in picking up the remake or not really?
If there was going to be one that I picked up the remake for, it would be probably 4, but I do not have any interest now.
Okay. All right. Hey, fair enough. Yeah, I'm at the end of chapter 3, which isn't too far, but I'm making my way through it. I think it's like a 20-hour game, but I do want to talk about the first half hour of that game because it is a masterclass in game design. Like, maybe I shouldn't say that. It's not necessarily where it gets you like, oh, I know how to do things now. What it does is it throws you into this huge engagement at the very beginning. You play about 10 minutes of stuff, just very early story stuff and kind of walking through a trail and a couple of encounters. But then they get you to this beginning village and there's dozens and dozens of characters and they throw you into it and it's a survival section. And that's when you first see the chainsaw guy, which I don't know if he has an official title. Maybe he does, but he is intimidating.
Chainsaw Charlie.
Chainsaw Charlie. Okay, Chainsaw Charlie. He is intimidating, and you can't kill him there. I don't know if you can kill him throughout the game, but you cannot kill him there for sure. And it's just very claustrophobic, even though it's an open village area. There's just so many of those guys running around, and it's just it sets
not much to run around if you think
right. About it. Yeah, like you're kind of running in houses. Yeah, you're running in houses, going up the stairs, jumping out the roof. There's a couple cool environmental kills you can get. I set a cow on fire and he ran and killed a bunch of them. But just amazing how much it sets the tone for the whole game. Where it's Leon against this entire like race. It's tough. It's fun. And it's just an amazing opening. So my question is, on the heels of RE4's opening, I want to know what you guys think is the greatest opening ever to a video game. I gave you RE4 right now. I've got 4 other ones on my list, but I'll let you guys go first, and then I'll kind of round it out. So best opening to a video game. And when I say opening, I mean anywhere from like the first 5 minutes to the first about a half hour.
Let's see. Should I go first, or Dave, you want to try?
I mean, I know one. I'll go. Since you took RE4 out of the picture, there is one that I have to mention.
Something's still going on with your audio.
That's so weird.
I know. It's weird. It just started, too. It's super weird.
What is it?
It's kind of like harsh, like almost like it's like over, like it's too loud, like it gets distorted. That's the word I'm looking for, right?
I think so.
Yeah. But
sounds like you're talking on a walkie-talkie almost.
What about now?
Better. A little bit in the background still of like that walkie-talkie-ness.
Better. Now
that's perfect.
Now
the best you've ever sound.
He's not. We can't hear you. That's why he's saying that. He's being. Can't hear you still. So, here's what I can do.
What about now?
And now we can hear you again. You want to keep talking?
Yeah. What about now?
I would still get a little bit of feedback, but it's better.
It's better.
It's better.
Did you do the old unplug and plug back in?
I did originally. When you asked me if I played RE4 or whatever, is when I was doing that.
It's very strange. I don't know.
No?
Not great. Not great. Horrible.
So
I know, right? But you know what? We're gonna keep it in and keep going because this is what the people want.
Right? Live action. What about now?
Yeah, it's still about the same.
Never had an issue.
I know, right? I'm also gonna make sure I timestamp this. Yes. So yeah.
Well, let's work this out first, and then we'll
gonna work it out first.
A little bit at least to a certain level.
It's still the same. Still the same. For our audio listeners, what David just did, which I want to appreciate, and it symbolizes being a gamer. He pulled the end of the cable out of the microphone and he blew into it like a Nintendo cassette. Right? It's exactly. But let's see here. Greatest opening. I mean,
what about? Can you hear me now?
It's kind of worse.
Is it better?
No. No.
And now we can't hear you. It's so weird.
Now?
Up?
What about now?
No.
Wait. Turn it down a little. Turn the
right now.
Up a little.
What about now? What about now? What about now?
Sounds staticky. I don't know.
Yeah, I say go for it.
Okay.
Greatest opening.
All right. So, The Last of Us. You kind of have to mention that.
Yeah.
First half hour, all hell breaks loose. Main guy loses his daughter. You know, like it's tragic. It really sets the tone for what's ahead in that game.
Right. 100%. I mean, and then obviously, like they did the almost 1-for-1 remake in the show, and it was brilliant in the show because it was so brilliant in the game.
Yeah, scene for scene, especially at that point.
Right.
It was on cue.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely a great opening.
Beautifully done. And as a parent, it even hits way harder.
Yeah, the thing is, I played that game way before Zayden was born, you know?
Yeah. I'm so my son too.
It hurt me, but like it was just like, oh, it's someone else's child. But now that I have my own, and I watched it on TV, it's just like I don't even know if I could have done what he did. Just sitting there like bawling, like I think I would have been too out of it to even cry. There's a lot.
Yeah. I actually just finished up the series. So,
did you like?
What do you give it out of 10?
Out of 10, I give it. I could do decimals, but I'm just going to go 10 out of 10.
Wow.
I could do decimals. I'm just going to give it 10 out of 10.
It was
like
great. 9.5. Is that what?
No, if I was giving it decimals, I'd do like probably like a 9.8 or something.
9.8. Okay.
But
pretty.
I'm just going to give it 10 out of 10. It's fantastic.
Okay.
Yeah. David, do you have another opening, or I can give one real quick?
Oh yeah, go ahead. Let me see if I can think of something.
All right. So one opening of a game, a great opening, almost started it all for me. The D-Day opening to Medal of Honor Frontline Assault. If you're into history, and again, I think Saving Private Ryan around that same time, you get to actually play and live the D-Day invasion of Saving Private Ryan and of the real D-Day invasion, like all in that game. Fantastic. The way it introduces you to everything, the mechanics, the way you're storming the beach, you're seeing troops get cut down left and right. It's so immersive and it's fantastic. It's one of the, I swear that took Medal of Honor to a whole new level. I swear it did. So that's like one of the greatest openings for a game for me. That whole opening level right there fell off a bit after that, but it was great opening. Great opening.
I don't remember that one specifically, but classic war sort of like trope that kind of just like sucks you in right away and puts so much action into it. So yeah, good pick. I have 4 more that I think are all really solid picks. I'm looking at my list and it seems like most of these are like newer games, and I guess just because of like how prevalent storytelling is and stuff like that.
Right. Maybe a little recency bias too,
Yeah, but I don't know if either of you played Metal Gear Solid 5.
Did not.
Okay, so I'm not really a Metal Gear Solid guy, but 5, The Phantom Pain, I played it. I got about halfway through before I quit, but that opening is amazing. It's I don't even remember like the exact details, but you're in a hospital and something goes down and you're kind of crawling your way out as everything around you kind of like is getting destroyed, and then you escape on a Jeep or something at the end of it. Very cool, very cinematic, which is kind of what Metal Gear is known for. But then the rest of the game is kind of not as cinematic as that. It's more of just like an open world, kind of do what you have to do. But another one, and Jeremy, maybe you will agree with the current game that you are playing, but the original BioShock. So I want to hear about BioShock Infinite, but the original BioShock, you are flying on a plane to a location and the plane goes down. And that scene itself is really, really cool. And you're in this like, you're in the ocean and around you is like a ring of fire. And when I tell you the first time I played that, I didn't move for like 3 minutes because I thought it was still part of the cutscene. I was just sitting there. And I'm like, what's happened? Oh, I can move. So then you swim and you find this lighthouse, like I said, in the middle of the ocean. You find this lighthouse and you take an elevator down to Rapture, which is the city in BioShock. And it's just, those first visuals, not even of just the ocean, but when you get down to Rapture and you see kind of this like Art Deco type of like landscape, the all that stuff, it's really amazing. Couple more. God of War 2018. I think. Oh, hold on. Let me go back. BioShock Infinite. How's that opening? That's pretty solid too, right?
It's pretty
of that.
It's pretty solid. I'm still kind of in the middle of it, but it's pretty solid. It's all right. It's not bad,
Okay. Yeah, I know. Like you take an elevator up. Is that what happens?
Yes, you go to a lighthouse and you take it up.
Okay, so they're real reminiscent of BioShock 1. And then obviously I think for that one you kind of like go to like a fair where they have like a white lady and a black gentleman.
I haven't even got that far yet, bro. I landed in the cloud, and then they were like, you can go. And I was like, all right, I will go. And then I'll talk about it. I ended up getting sidetracked by a different game.
Oh, okay. Well, that's what happens. That's what happens. Yeah. God of War 2018, we had kind of mentioned this, like about games that kind of like when we knew they were fantastic. And I think both of us mentioned at the beginning, you with the scene where he's cutting down the tree, it was very stoic and kind of like emotional for his wife. And then me talking about that boss battle with Baldur. That's all within like the first half hour, and it's fantastic. And then a cult favorite of mine, Sonic Adventure 2 for the GameCube. That first level, City Escape, the music's fantastic. It keeps the energy of Sonic and the speed of Sonic throughout. You're on a metal snowboard, and then a truck chases you. Very good opening level. That's a great game. So those were all my openings. Do you guys have any other things you want to mention?
I did think of one. Resident Evil 2. That's what got me hooked onto the series.
Okay.
Just, your first day cop, but then everything all breaks loose again. And all the zombies are coming out, and they have to split up with Claire and find safety. And that was a good opening. That's what. It's 25 years later, and I'm still playing that series because of it.
Yeah. Yeah, RE2 had a great opening.
That's the gas station, right? When you go to the gas station for the first time?
I believe so.
And then, even me and my brother, we used to quote the one line from the trucker, why did he bite me? And then he, takes off with his truck, and then he splits them apart. That's sweet. Right. And it's dangerous and scary because you think you have this partner with you, and it's like, well, you guys are separated now, so you're all alone.
Yeah. I'll give two more openings real quick. The first one, of course, is the opening to Skyrim. It's legendary.
Yeah.
It's meme-conic. It's beyond just iconic. It's memed all the time. The dragon and all that stuff,
Wait, is that the one where you wake up on a ship? Like a kayak or whatever?
No, that's Morrowind, I think, actually.
It's Morrowind. Okay.
Yeah. Morrowind, you wake up on a ship as a prisoner. Oblivion, you wake up in a dungeon as a prisoner. And in Skyrim, you wake up on a wagon as a prisoner. So
okay.
Yeah. But yeah, that's a great one. And then the other one is, Cory, you kind of mentioned you're sitting there for 3 minutes because you didn't know you can actually move.
Mm-hmm.
The opening to Uncharted 2 is exceptional.
Oh, really?
Exceptional.
Like the same exact thing, kind of? Where
When you're hanging off a suspended train or something. That's you wake up and you're and your guys I remember just hanging there and I'm like, okay, well, is he going to start climbing? And then I just happened to tap the thumb button and he started to climb and I'm like, oh, okay.
It's me. I control this.
Yeah, that was a exceptional, great opening to a game. Great opening to a game. Yeah. Yeah, that was dope. But let's see here. Go ahead.
Is that all you guys can think of?
For me,
do you have one more, Cory?
No, I was just trying to think of an older school one. I'm sure there is.
It's so hard because, like you said,
the NES or the Super Nintendo. I think the problem is because I was so long, it doesn't really stick with me as much. I'm sure there's something. I'm sure back in the day, something like Mario 3 was bananas, where it's oh my god, you can fly, or Super Mario World, there's a dinosaur. I'm sure there was something like that, or one of the Zeldas. I don't know about openings. I feel like that was kind of slow actually, because you're kind of just in his little area and it's got the doinky music and you're just kind of you're kind of learning the lay of the land. I don't know. Like I said, I'm sure there's more. And I would love to give a shout out to an older game, but right now I just can't think of one. So
all right. You know what? I'll give a shout out to Pokemon. To Pokemon. I'll give a shout out to Pokemon. Pokemon does a good job of introducing you as a character and introducing Gary. I mean, right off rip, you hate Gary.
Right. Smell you later.
Exactly. Yeah.
I actually have another one too that's actually fantastic. So in Castlevania Symphony of the Night, have you guys played this one at all?
No.
Okay. So what that game does, it pits you at the boss battle of the previous game, if I remember correctly. So you're playing Richter Belmont and you're fighting Dracula. It's the final boss of the previous game, and you're going through that. That's the famous line where he's like, "What's a man? Nothing but lies and whatever." It's a great line. But you fight the previous boss, the end boss of the last game, and then you kind of go into it with Alucard, Dracula's son, and you kind of go through there. So that's a sweet opening for sure.
Yeah.
And now I feel like I've done my due diligence because I named an old game.
What? I don't think I've ever seen that before. The very last boss of a game is your very first one.
Yeah, no, obviously
that's interesting.
It's much easier. I can't imagine what it was like.
Right.
But yeah, it's very cool. Very good way to start it off.
I like that.
Yeah. Best. Oh yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was going to say just largest or greatest openings. I mean, I'm sure we're missing some, but
a ton.
For sure.
Yeah.
But still can't think of any of those. What about games that you didn't think you were gonna like, but you actually ended up really enjoying them?
I've got quite a few.
It's like a good example for me. This was actually a viewer request, for one of us to play. It was Mo Astray.
Yeah.
It's that 2D puzzle fighter game.
Mm-hmm.
I loved it. I never really played a game like that before because just little blobs. You have to get through these puzzles, and they had a good story, and they had like these bosses. There was like no fighting per se. You just had to watch out for their moves and do stuff around the level to hurt them. It was a good game. And the ending, I think, was a cliffhanger for a second game. I've been wondering where that is. That was a good 5-7 hours of game time.
Yeah, you would think, and that was they might be working on a sequel, but it's probably been a couple of years though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Huh. Yeah, I don't have like a littler one. I will say that one that I went into that I ended up enjoying was Mount & Blade Warband. The first Mount & Blade. I went into that just trying to figure out what it was like. I was trying to be more PC master race. So I'm like, I'm going to get into this game. It's supposed to be you're in an army. This is kind of like my thing a little bit. And yeah, some odd 40, 50 hours later, I'm like, oh man, I love this game so much that when the sequel came out, I might have actually more hours than that into it, but the sequel Bannerlord came out, and I've been playing that just consistently, and especially as of recently, that's really been the only thing I've really been playing. This is Bannerlord. So I would say that's one that I didn't expect to really get into and really, really got into, as far as wasn't expecting much. That it turns out, I love this game. Some of my favorite games are games like that,
Right.
Yeah.
All right, so if you guys don't follow our TikTok, you should follow it. Jeremy's constantly posting some really good stuff on there. A lot of highlights from our show, but sometimes some goofy stuff. And he posted one where David called me out on a question. And I feel like calling out David on this question, honestly. David, when you first said it, I'm like, oh yeah, okay, not a bad question. Now I'm like, what is this question, David? What is this?
Well, it's
I hear what you're saying.
In a box.
But let me tell you what I'm saying. Okay. The question was a game you thought you wouldn't like, but then ended up liking.
Yeah.
I don't buy games that I don't think I'm gonna like. I don't play games I don't think I'm gonna like. That's a very hard thing for me. I was racking my brain, but I can't think of a game where I'm like, I won't like this game. Let me spend $60 on it. It's not something that I'm really racking my brain. And the only game I can think of is the Falconeer. And I didn't think I would like it. But then I ended up hating it. So that's the only thing. That's a game that I played thinking I wouldn't like.
Is that the one Jeremy made us play?
It is the one. It is the one. And you know what? That was one. That's another one where I'm like, we'll see how this goes. And I ended up, you know what? It wasn't a bad thing. So can you therefore take David's question, the spirit of it?
I can take the spirit of it.
Here's a game. Had a friend hey, you know what? You should really try this game out. And you ended up enjoying it.
I'm that friend.
You're crazy.
You're the one that
I'm that friend. When I play everything, I don't know. I really am having a hard time thinking of an example because I was thinking of a lot of games that we reviewed because we did do a lot of them through Game Pass.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. Falconeer's the one I'm thinking of. Like I said, I hated it. The Medium, I didn't end up liking. It was okay at best, but for the most part, I buy games that I'm interested in, and the only thing that can happen is they end up being worse than I thought. Not oh, this game was much worse.
You've never had a game you've never had a game where you liked it more than you anticipated you would. That's hard for me to believe.
For sure, but that's 100% correct. I have had that happen, but not a game that I thought I would not like.
Okay.
I'm trying to think of like different spots. Like maybe I went to a relative's house and I'm like, I don't want to play this. And then I played it. I'm like, this is awesome. Maybe there's an example there somewhere. The only thing I can think of is where I was like apathetic towards games, where I'm like, oh, okay, like I don't really care about it. But Splatoon was one where that was announced. I really didn't have strong feelings for it at all. My buddy Eric downloaded the free play weekend or demo before it came out. He invited me over and I played it. I really liked it, bought it, love that game.
That's a good example.
Yeah.
What about Ghost?
Yeah, that's what I was just about to say.
Okay, yeah.
Ghost of Tsushima was the other one where, they did a big state of play for it, half-hour thing. And I watch all these things. I didn't watch that one. I had no interest. It was middle of summer, and it was like, we're on a podcast. I gotta play something. I want a new game. And that ended up being, my number 2 game of the year that year. And it's just an amazing game.
That's so simple.
Okay, all right, then I'll take that because, like I said, the question as is, like, I honestly can't think of an example of a game where I think I won't like this, but then played it. I wish I could give you something, and there must be something in my past where I played. Yeah. Okay. So those are my 2 that I think really.
What made me think about it is like PUBG was the very first game I played on my computer. At that time, I was only playing like Titanfall on my Xbox, but my friends were like, "Hey, play this game with us. You might like it." And I'm like, "Well, I don't do these type of games. I don't like looking for loot and stuff like that. And I just like being given what I'm given and then going at it." But I ended up putting 800 hours into PUBG.
Yeah,
and I was I didn't play it for like a week. They tried and pushed me for a week to play that game, and I finally downloaded it. And
yeah, I'm
that.
definitely the type of guy I get like very excited about things, like I'm sure you guys can probably tell based on my personality, but I get like, this is coming out. Oh, this is coming. Even if things aren't very good, I'm like very excited about it. I don't know. I guess maybe another one. Did you guys, either of you, play Split Second?
No.
I don't think so, but it sounds familiar.
It was a racing game made by Disney Interactive.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I definitely didn't. No.
Okay, it didn't have like any power-ups or anything. It was just a very fast racing game, but like the tracks were destructible. So like after the second lap, like a big water silo would fall down. It would open up like for this third lap, like a brand new, not even like a secret like spot, but like everyone had to follow that. So that was kind of cool. I don't know. Those are the answers I got. Yeah.
I can give one more game that I've had a very interesting emotional arc with, and that is Limbo. I went into Limbo expecting not to like it. And I played it and I began to hate it. And I finished it because I hated it.
Right.
And in retrospect, I actually really like that game.
What do you mean you like that game? You just went out 2 weeks ago saying that you hated it. What do you mean you liked it?
Yeah, again, I am a introspective person. I'm constantly reflecting on myself, and that game sticks with me. I think about that game every now and then, and when I take away the frustrations that I felt with it, the way the game actually approaches the puzzles and the way it wants you to figure things out, and the story it is trying to tell very subtly, are all things that were done very well. And I actually like that. Yeah.
Are you on track to buy Inside?
I'm on track to play it. I have it downloaded. I have to get myself in the emotional space to dive into it because I know I will be angry. I will be violently angry playing it. But I'm just trying to wait to get myself in that space. But right now I'm just enjoying some Bannerlord and just digging with that. But it does bring me to something that I wanted to discuss because, David, you had just mentioned that you, when it's all said and done, put 800 hours in the PUBG, and I don't know how you did it.
Me either. I tried to play it like months after I stopped playing it.
Yeah.
And I was like, what is this?
Right, exactly.
I played 2 games, and that was it.
So I was curious because like I play a lot of games. Cory, I know you play like a lot of different games. You're spreading the time out around.
Yes.
But I'm curious as to what was the first game or games that either of you got to 1,000 hours in or close. And the reason I ask this is partially because a couple of weeks ago, the actor Lance Reddick passed away. He was a terrific actor and also did voice acting for games. And the one I think he most famously did was the voice of Zavala for Destiny. So it was kind of like revealed, I guess, that he was actually playing Destiny the day before he died, and that across Destiny 1 and 2, he had put 2,800 hours in those games. So almost 3,000 hours into Destinies. So, for a working actor that has like a family and 11 months, that's crazy. So that made me think about, wow, has there ever been a game that I would even put anywhere near that close amount of time into?
No.
And what was it? So, David, I'm confident that I know of at least 2 to 3 that you've put that much time into.
Yes.
We should guess them, Jeremy.
I'm going to
you get first guess.
There's 4 that have hit 1,000 hours.
Let's see if we can get all 4 here.
I think
we're not competing.
One of them is a combo. 3 of them are by themselves. The 4th one is a combo of 2.
Okay. I think that the first one you put 1,000 hours into is Overwatch.
Wasn't the first, but it is one of them.
Okay, I got to say you talked about Dead by Daylight for 2 years straight, so it's got to be Dead by Daylight has 1,000.
I only put 800 odd some hours into it.
Dang, only, yeah. Shoot,
I got it.
Well, it's Apex.
Yeah, definitely Apex. I'm at 3,000 right now.
Oh my god!
Oh my god!
That's incredible.
Lifetimes.
I'm still garbage.
Do you have any more, Jeremy? Now I'm kind of stumped. I thought Dead by Daylight would be it.
We got 3. We got 3, right?
We got 2: Overwatch and Apex.
Yes.
Overwatch, Apex. So Dead by Daylight wasn't one.
That's
and
rough.
I know
that was a close one.
And PUBG isn't one because you said 800 hours.
Yep.
Right?
I don't know the exact title, but whatever Call of Duty prestige.
My very first game ever, it's 1,440 hours is a Call of Duty.
Okay.
Modern Warfare 3?
2.
Okay.
Modern Warfare 2, I had, like, in the time stuff, it'd tell you how long you played, and it was 60 days, which is 1,440 hours.
Wow.
There's one more, which is the double up.
Yeah.
It's
2 games, so they have to be closely related.
Yes.
I don't know.
I'm going Last of Us 1 and 2.
No.
1,000 hours? Jeremy, I don't think you can play 1,000 hours.
Well, I did play The Last of Us, the first one, multiple times. I probably did put about 250 into that game.
Right, that's super impressive, that amount.
Yeah.
It's an online game, right? Like, it has to be.
It is multiplayer. You can prestige in it.
Prestige in it. It's not another Call of Duty then, or is it? No. Man, what would it be, Jeremy? Would it be it wouldn't be Titanfall 2, right? It was.
Titanfall 2.
Really?
Titanfall 2.
Wow, you love
it.
Man.
I put the 1,000 hours.
Right. Okay. Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
4 over 1,000. That's super impressive, man.
Yeah.
I gotta give it up to you. That's super impressive.
Dedication.
My mind is just give me something relatable, or not relatable, but comfortable, and something that's different every time.
Right.
Because every match isn't the same ever.
Right. It's true. Cory, what about you?
Man, yeah. So I don't think I have one. This would have been a better question for my mom, who, when she gets into a game, she really gets into a game. So shout out my mom. She might have it in RimWorld. She might have it in Fantasy Life 4, Animal Crossing. I would say the ones that I'm closest to, I don't have exact hour count for this game, but Halo 2 has to be, that would be the one that I would, if I had to guess, would be the one that I might have got over 1,000 hours for sure. Mm-hmm. That was a game where I played for years, multiplayer, every single day. I was a kid. After school, I would play, and during summers, I would play. Other than that, I'm looking at something like Rocket League, where I have about 600 hours in, which is insane to me.
That's impressive.
I'm not very good either, so don't know what happened. Smash Bros. Ultimate, I think I had about 500 hours for the Switch. Wow. So as a series, like, I easily have over 1,000 hours for the Smash Bros. Like, easily have over 1,000 hours for the Smash Bros. Series. And then maybe something like Diablo or Diablo 2 back in the day. Same thing, kid, lots of free time. Used to play that multiplayer up and down. Got my guy perfected. Got every stat up. Got every single item that I could. So those are kind of the big hitters. I'm trying to think of some other stuff, but and shout out to Pokemon. I'm pretty sure Pokemon Sapphire, which was Pokemon Emerald. So like Sapphire and Ruby. Mm-hmm. The third game in that Sapphire, sorry. Emerald. Pokemon Emerald. I got like probably $500 or 500 hours in that individual game. I had a 250 plus hour save file or 300 hours that got deleted. And I went right back to it and put another 200, 300, 400 hours into the next save file. So that one's very close, which is strange because what can you do in a Pokemon game for that long? I was raising all my guys to level 100.
If you count all of the Pokemon, put in 1,000. But that doesn't mean because like the Call of Duty series, I full prestiged in Modern Warfare 2, Modern Warfare 3, Black Ops 2, almost in Ghosts. It's insane the amount of time I put into all those games overall. I don't even want to think how many hours that was.
Yeah.
Jeremy, do you have one?
Yeah.
I confidently have, I think, 2 that I 1,000-houred.
Can we guess?
Yes.
Okay, David, you want to take a guess?
I'm gonna have to go with a Dynasty Warrior.
No, you can't play that for 1,000 hours, I don't think, right?
It's not, but you can play it for. I've got some hundreds into Dynasty Warriors. Yeah.
I can't pick the exact one, but I'm going to guess Civ.
You would be correct.
Is it Civilization Revolution?
No, it was not. No, it was Civilization 2.
Okay.
Which was the first one I played. Yeah, I probably easily 1,000-hour that because also I was young, man. I was 14, 15.
That's what you got to be. You got to be young.
Mean, 14, 15, young blood. You got natural coke in your body, and you're just going 24/7 all the time. So I'm just down there playing Civ. Yeah, so that was the first one that I 1,000-houred was Civ 2.
The Sims? That's not the other one, is it? Because you had dropped a couple weeks ago that you played Sims like religiously, like you like that game.
Right. No, I will double check.
Oh, okay.
Do you have it on you?
No, it's not. I have it like on my computer. No, but no, it's not The Sims. But I've put a lot of time into The Sims, but it's not The Sims.
I don't know. It has to be something like Mountain Blade or The Guild or something like that.
Neither of those are the other one.
I would just expect something Skyrim? That like you kind of. Ooh, that's a good one. Morrowind.
Yeah, one of those.
That's the other one. Was Skyrim.
Nice job, David.
Yeah. Okay, nice job. Wait a minute. He talks about this game a lot.
Yeah.
Impressive, man.
Well, actually, yeah. So Civ 2, Skyrim, the one, but there's 3. There's one more that has more than all of them. Thousands of hours.
What do you mean thousands of hours?
Thousands of hours. And that game is NCAA Football 14. Believe it or not. And part of the reason for that is because, look, when I was younger, I was an absolute poor. And what I did was I had a bunch of games that I ended up selling just to get some cash on hand. And the one that I held on to was NCAA Football 14. I played that game and only that game for a year and a half.
Wow.
And
that's some meantime crap.
And the only reason that I didn't keep playing, or the only time that changed was 2013. You know what happened 2013?
Hit puberty?
Well, I had hit puberty before then. Xbox One, right?
Oh.
Or 2015, wherever it was, 2015 maybe. So that's when I got the new system, I got the new games, I got the division and all that stuff. That's what I was waiting for. And I finally got all that stuff. And that's when I stopped playing NCAA football. But for a year and a half, that's the only game I played. Only game. I didn't have a PC. I wasn't playing. I didn't have a PlayStation or anything like that. I had just my Xbox 360 and I had NCAA football 14. So that's the first one that I hit 1,000 hours in and booked over that for sure.
Wow.
Yeah.
That was Oregon State, right?
A mix. It was a little bit of Oregon State. You know, I'd pick a different team after I got done with a while, right? So I created my coach. My coach's name is Dick Butt, right? And so, he's the coach of. I start off here, or I start off as an offensive coordinator here, then I work my way up. And yeah, Oregon State was part of that. And what are some other teams that I had? Utah State was part of that, and all these other kind of like low one tier, one star, 2-star teams that you turn into dynasties. Having replaying that whole RPG and it was that did all that.
That reminds me, I think I don't have numbers for this, but I think maybe one of the Maddens I was probably pretty close to 1,000 if I didn't hit it. Maybe like Madden 10 or something. It had a really good franchise mode.
Yeah.
And it had like really good draft classes. And the draft classes had a lot of people that were like versions of other players, from like back in the day. They had like a Deion Sanders quarterback, or like I remember a Michael Bolt, which was Michael Vick, and they had a lot of those, like a Randy Moss type. So
yeah,
I do remember I played every single game in a season and the playoffs through about 20 years of that franchise.
That's 20 hours right there. That's 20 hours. That's 20 hours a season right there. If you're playing like every game,
20 is 400. Is that 400? Is my math correct?
That's at least 400 hours. That's
not counting like I did all the trades and I would do the prices, concession stands, hire people, free agency.
Exactly.
So that would be one that would probably be very, very close. Because like I said, I played 20 years straight, man. I love that one so much. I played where I got rookies and I retired them when they were like all-time leading like rushers and stuff. They had whole careers in my dynasty.
Yeah.
Unexpected.
Sports games, man. We used to be dumb.
Well, no. We used to have good ones.
Used to be. That's weird.
They used to be good.
They used to be good. Yeah. Not so much anymore. You can imagine spending hundreds of hours on a Madden nowadays? I mean,
No.
Worms already got the brain there, buddy,
Yeah,
I guess good conversation. David, I like what we guessed because we knew that we were like, there's 3 or 4 that we're sure of. And then, Cory, I figured you probably didn't have 1,000-hour one, but I figured you probably had some that were close.
I play so many different games. Like exactly. I'm on and off games so quick. I guess I like this conversation. Let's continue a little bit. David, the answer for you is most certainly yes. But I would still be interested to hear it. Do you ever see a 1,000-hour game in your future, like after your current like slate of games? So like not counting Apex, you might put another 1,000 hours into that. But do you see another 1,000-hour game in your future?
I honestly don't know.
Like for me, I would guess yes for you. Like if there's a game that attracts you, like you're willing to put the time into, but that game has to come out,
Right. But I just don't know. Because like my son is getting older and I have a partner. We've been together almost 2 years and we start doing stuff. And I don't know. I kind of want to actually work on my yard this year. And if the game came out, like, I don't know. Like it's.
I want to mow my lawn for once.
I can. You know what? If I stay on it as long as I do with like Apex and stuff, it might be TFT. Because I play at least a game or 2 every day, and a game is about 30 to 40 minutes.
Wait, I missed something. What's TFT?
Team Fight Tactics. It's on your computer and on your phone.
Oh,
it uses characters from League of Legends. It's like a mini game.
Oh, gotcha.
It's its own game.
So you can see that one propelling itself to 1,000 hours.
Yeah, because I've been playing it since Christmas, and they've only had 2 battle passes, and I've completed the one, and I'm already halfway through the other.
Okay. Same question to you, Jeremy, and I guess like any games that you have currently been playing or are already out that you could see going to that 1,000-hour mark.
Let's see here. Current games that I've been playing that I could see hitting that 1,000-hour mark.
Like maybe not like within the last 6 months, but just any game in your past. Could you see it kind of like propelling itself to 1,000 hours?
There's well, okay, yeah. That game is Software Inc. because I have over 200 hours in it already.
That was one of my guesses before I thought of Skyrim.
Yeah. And The thing with that game is like with these types of really like heavy time investment games, like with Bannerlord too. Like I've been playing Bannerlord for like a week straight, 2-3 hours a night. So then I'll play it for like maybe a month or so, and I get boom 30-40 hours into it, and then I don't touch it again for a year. Software Inc. I usually cycle back with that a little bit more, so I play it in cycles. So and they're constantly adding things. Like I said, they added real people now. Your people look like people. So obviously I'm going to jump back into that and start playing that. That's got 200 hours, and I'm telling you that got 200 hours easy. It got it.
Okay.
Easy. So yeah, I can see that. Another game in the future that may grab it. It depends on how it looks. I'm super excited for it. Have not mentioned it at all. City Skylines 2, man. City Skylines 2 is coming. And that might get me. That might get me.
Okay. Yeah, for me, I think Rocket League is the big contender for an individual game because, like I said, Smash Bros. Series and other series. But I have, like I said, 600 hours, and that game kind of goes in like spurts. You know, like I'll get 100 hours at a time. You know, like I haven't played it in about a year, but if we start playing it tomorrow, I'll be sucked in again, and I'll be playing it every night for 3 hours, and just it's such an easy to pick up game where like you try to improve your skill. And in the future, I don't, but you know, as my kid grows up, maybe he's a huge gamer, and maybe we start playing something together where it's like a Minecraft. You know, if Minecraft is still very popular when he's 6 or 7, maybe I do put 1,000 hours into something like that. You know, so maybe. And with the kind of like live service kind of like happening so much, people aren't as quick to make sequels. So maybe.
Right. I mean, one game I've avoided because I figure I'll put too much time into it has been RimWorld. I know for a fact, and especially because it's on Steam Deck. So it's like, it would be like, oh, I play on my computer. Oh, then I can play on my phone. Why is my colony struggling? Like I'd get super into it.
Have you played it on Steam Deck yet?
RimWorld, no. I haven't played it on Steam Deck yet.
I'm kind of interested to see how it controls because I've always been interested in that game. I know it's a huge kind of investment. Like you have to kind of like dig deep and learn it. But if you play it on Steam Deck, let me know because I want to see how it controls on that.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. Good conversation, man.
That was a lot more than I expected.
Yeah, and we're talking about games, but guess what, folks? It's game time. And for this game, we are playing Legally Guessing.
Right.
And Cory is going to bartend this iteration, this version, this party. So Cory, how about you take?
What are you having? That's your little merchant. Yeah. So this game, that's the merchant from RE4.
Yeah, but just said it real quick.
What are you buying? That's how he. What are you buying? What are you buying, mate? He's Australian. I didn't know that. He says mate all the time to me now. We're good friends. Yeah, mate this, mate that. We're good friends, man. He's the safest guy there. But anyways, we got this recommended to us by a listener. Brandon, thank you for listening. We know he's going to hear this because he's a listener. So he gave me this game. He was kind of nice to you guys because, you know, Chrome Hounds? Are you kidding me? We'll never forgive you for Animaniacs. So like,
I hope not. Remember that.
This was nicer than both of you deserved, but it's still going to be a little bit of a tough one. So let me grab my little paper here so I can mark down your questions. Start guessing.
Well, hold on, just quickly. I still contend, and I apologize for Chrome Hounds. I intended it to be Steel Battalion. I intended it to be that, which I feel like is almost as obscure. So it may not matter. Yeah. Okay,
we were close. I did say mechs out loud.
Yeah.
All right, gentlemen, go ahead.
Is it in mine, yours, or Jeremy's top 50?
Wow,
that's a good question. I don't know what you're saying. Like,
wow,
we will definitely be more inclined to pick games we like.
I know.
Like, let's look like Breath of the Wild when I did that one. If you would have asked that question, the answer would have been yes. It could be in our top. It would have been in my top 50. But the answer for this one is no.
Okay.
What's that do, David? What's that do?
Is this game a in first person?
No.
Okay. I almost asked if it was in second person since I got slack for that before.
Hold on. I knew we're going off the rails here, but I did make fun of you for that. But I do want to give you a little bit of peace of mind because there was one game, one time that did a second person perspective, but I still was deserving of making fun of you because it was the dumbest thing I had heard. Like, you can't really make a second person game, but the game that did it, do you know it, Jeremy? You're kind of like shaking your head like, yeah, I knew.
I didn't know it was a real thing.
I can't remember the specific game offhand.
So like first person is obviously you're seeing through their eyes. Third person, you're seeing from behind them. Second person would be described as someone else seeing somebody, which makes no sense in a video game terms. Like, you can't, like, what would that even mean? But in the video game Driver 3, you like possess people. I've never played Driver 3, but you kind of like possess people. So there's a mission where you possess a driver in front of you and you're controlling the driver in front of you, but you are the driver behind them. So you are a person looking at another person and you're controlling. It's very unique. And as far as I know,
Mind Hack would be another one of those then, wouldn't it?
Wow. Which one?
Mind Hack? It's when you're someone that hacks into the mind of other people that have them do things for you.
But like, are you still the original person?
Yeah.
So how do you move them? Like, you just
move them.
Okay, but maybe that would be another example of it.
There you go.
Mind blowing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. Like, I watched the whole 20-minute YouTube video on it before. I get in the trenches of YouTube, right? Anyways, okay, 2 questions down.
Back on track.
Yeah.
Is this game bound to one system?
Oh God. No.
No. Okay, so that means it's a third party, or it's been allowed to be on other platforms. Okay.
That is what I meant.
Yeah.
Well, I don't want him to say no, and it's on PS4 and PS5.
No, it's not like that.
Okay, thank you.
Did this game come out before 2015?
Yes.
Okay, we're dealing with an old.
I mean,
2015, that's like Xbox One, PS4.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. An old third party. It's not first person.
Not first person. So it's got to be third person. Let's see here. This game's kind of, it doesn't really help a lot. If it's a yes, it helps a lot. If it's a no, it doesn't help at all.
So this is like a shot in the dark. You're wasting a question. David, get ready to call him out. That's what you do now.
Is this game is the main character of the person you play in the game is it human?
They can be.
They can be. Huh. What a very strange, non-absolute answer. Obviously, this is some kind of shapeshifter.
I mean, I could simply say yes. I mean, that might. It doesn't tell the whole story. It's a yes, but it doesn't tell the whole story.
Okay. So it's a human, but doesn't tell the whole story of the human.
Well, I didn't say that. It's yes, you can play as a human. But there's a little more than that, though. So that's all I'm giving you.
Okay, but can you play as human because this person is a human?
Is another question you're asking?
No, that's what a clarification answer to the question should be.
I mean, okay, fine. I'm just going to give you the yes. You play as a human.
Okay.
I won't even give you any more little extra insight.
It could be like the Animaniacs thing where a character that you play is human, but not all of them are.
Right.
Big brain play, David. Jeremy's thinking small potatoes. Shapeshifter. Okay.
Older game, not first person. Human sometimes.
Okay, so then I guess, do we want to expand on what you had said with a question just to clarify further? If it's, is this a game where you play as multiple people or multiple protagonists?
Yeah, I'm still out.
Okay. Is this a game where you play as multiple protagonists?
You can.
This doesn't make any sense.
You can. No, so that
individually.
Means...
No, if you're playing the game, Jeremy, no, you don't play as multiple protagonists. That's 6 questions, but you can.
So there's a character choice at the beginning of the game.
Jeremy's thinking small potatoes. I don't know what's going on.
So
that
can
cap
play as a human if you choose to play as a human. So like Street Fighter, for example, 3
I'm giving you way too many hints here.
You can play as Axel, or you can play as the Kangaroo.
6 questions you've used. I'm done giving you hints. Jeremy is asking such absurd things and complaining about that.
I'm not asking absurd things.
Not absurd, but you're complaining about the answers I give. Like, I'm giving you golden nuggets.
Every single question is a I just want some clear yes or no's. That's all.
It would send you in the wrong. I'm trying to play it with like the heart of the game. Like if I said yes strictly, it would send you down the wrong direction.
Okay.
I'm trying to help. I'm your friend.
It's a character choice in the beginning.
6 questions.
Like Mortal Kombat, you can choose to be human smoke or cyber smoke. You know?
So wait. Okay. Got that. So let's see here. What's the next play of a question here? Is it character choice? Or is it?
It's a character choice. Let's go with. Can you play it on the N64?
Just taking a look. No, you cannot.
Okay. So that gets rid of a lot of stuff, in my opinion, like Mario Kart.
That gets rid of like only 200
Smash
games.
Brothers.
That's a small,
stuff like
catalog.
That. Right. Some of those.
And it's a third-party game that's not a Nintendo, which is kind of a go figure.
Right.
But still.
Is this game a fighting game?
No.
Okay.
The genre. It's not fighting.
So that gets rid of like Virtual Fighter, Tekken, all that stuff like that.
Mortal Kombat. Dead or Alive.
Okay.
Some other one with blue in its name, I think.
Let's see.
Blue Blaze.
Yeah, that one. I only saw it once. Somebody was playing it at an anime convention.
So let's see here. There's possible character choice where you can play as a human, but also other things. It's not fighting. It's third person. It's got to be like in that era. You're either talking action or you're talking like platformer, really, right?
Maybe we can start eliminating genres.
That is true. Is this game a platformer genre game?
No.
Okay, so that gets rid of platformers. Is this game? They didn't really have open world games back then, really.
Not too much. Like, I was thinking like Final Fantasy like 10.
Yeah.
You can play as that blue guy. I think
That's
something. I don't remember his name.
Kamari,
yes, thank you. That's almost kind of open world, but not really.
Right.
But I think it's the closest as they get. That's PS2.
Yeah. Right, but that's only Final Fantasy was only PlayStation back then, right?
Back then, yeah.
So we're looking for some third person here. Just third person and third party. Is I'm gonna make a weird question here.
Okay.
It's gonna be weird. Was this game developed or published by a Japanese company?
Developed or published?
Correct.
Or published? Yes.
Okay, so he said it's published by a Japanese.
Right. So what are we talking? We're talking Cappy Boys. We're talking the Sega Boys.
Business.
We're talking the Squares, Japanese, right?
Square Enix?
Yeah.
I believe so. They're the one that do the Final Fantasies and everything.
Yeah. Okay. That somehow helps me and doesn't help me. Let's see.
It does nothing for me because I'm not good at that.
Okay.
10 questions down, 10 to go.
10 questions down, 10 to go. Okay.
Got this.
Yeah, we got it.
Can you play it online?
No.
Okay.
Solely single player or local player?
True.
Because it's an older game, so even at like PlayStation, you can play 4 players, but you just needed that little thing. So it wasn't solely single player.
Does this game have any kind of co-op?
Yes.
Okay. We've got a co-op.
Moving in the right direction.
Yeah, we've got a co-op third person. Yeah.
Third party.
Yeah.
Before 2015.
Before 2015. Should we ask another kind of like date question to further cue in on it?
I think so, because right now we're going from PS3 down to PlayStation. We're going from 64, well, not 64 anymore, but down to Nintendo.
Right.
There's still a long.
So let's see. We know it came out before 2015.
Yes.
Do we want to like cut it off at like
2005? Give us a 10-year window.
Yeah. Did this game come out after, in or after the year 2005?
January 1st?
January 1st.
That's a weird question. Did it come out?
No, it didn't. I did that on purpose. It did not come out after 2005.
Okay. So
before 2005.
It's before. So we're talking about the BC essentially. And it's not a fighting game.
13 questions down.
Man. It's not a fighting game. And it has co-op.
Right.
That's weird for that time. That it would be is it
like Twisted Metal is one I can think of. I know that's not a third party one, but like you could play co-op on that game. But there's no multiplayer like online.
Right. Okay, yeah. Do you control any type of vehicles or mechs or aircraft?
I'm not super informed on this game. My guess would be yes, but it isn't a huge.
Wait, your guess would be yes?
I don't know this game backwards and forwards. My guess would be yes. But if it is a yes, it would be just a small portion. But I think it would be a yes, is my guess. I will try to clarify that right now.
Okay.
But you can ask another question. Did I mark you down? I did not. So now you're at 14.
We've got
so if a G drive or whatever, it's just in the game. It's not necessarily something you have to do.
Right, or it's not like you're not like a human that's like in a mech and that's the game, right? We're not doing like anything or anything like that. So
right.
Or like it's not like an Ace Combat or something like that,
Exactly.
Okay.
It looks like, yes, there is there's at least one vehicle that you do, or a mech that you ride or take part of. So that's a yes.
Okay. I'm feeling okay about this direction. I will state for the record, in general, just in general, I do not trust Cory.
Trust me.
Just in general. Okay. But we're gonna keep this going. See, now immediately my mind starts going. It's 2005 or before. Before 2005. We're getting in, like, for some reason I'm going to games that I know it's not, but it fits everything that's being said.
Is it a series?
These are good questions, guys. I'll give it the yes, and don't worry. Afterwards, you'll understand why it was like a little bit of a confusing thing. I'll say yes. This is a series.
Okay, so it's kind of a series.
It's a series, but
it's kind of a series, and it came out before 05, before 05. So we're talking like, I mean, is that even, or is that still in like 360 gen? I mean, like, are we even going that far back? Yeah, I mean, we're going before 360.
Wait, 360 wasn't.
360 was 05. 360 is 05.
Oh, really? Okay, so we're thinking original Xbox.
PS2.
We have five questions.
Yeah.
What system was out for Nintendo?
It was whatever. It was something terrible.
It was
GameCube. Yeah,
GameCube was out.
Yeah, something, like I said, something terrible. But I mean, like, I strongly
Dreamcast.
It was also a Dreamcast. I strongly suspect it's not anything like.
Yeah, did Dreamcast have third-party games?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah. So yeah, GameCube not N64. I suspect that it won't be like a Nintendo relevant game, but there's a possibility. Let's see here. It's a third person game.
Yeah.
You can go into vehicles and stuff. Do we want to try to nail it to like third person shooter as a genre, which I feel confident it probably is?
Yeah, I'm done with that.
Okay. Is this game a third person shooter?
No.
All right. So no shooting. There are vehicles.
I mean, there's at least one vehicle.
Yeah.
Don't. It's not like Grand Theft Auto 2. You're jumping in and out. There's at least one vehicle.
Vehicles, but not shooter, third person.
It's not a platformer.
It's not a platformer. No.
Not first person shooter.
It's
So what do we have left at that point?
I mean, there's probably a lot of games, but there's not a lot of games really. You know what I'm saying? And this is gonna be some, I think, very niche game.
I don't think it's that niche, but let me say this. I think David's probably heard of it, which if David's heard of it, he hasn't heard of a lot of certain things, right?
That's true. Why?
You guys got 4 questions.
Yes. Why did it? Why is it a series take so long for him?
Because he's saying it's not a series, but it's also a series.
It 100% is.
It is a series, but like it's not Resident Evil 1, Resident Evil 2. You know, it's probably like
it's not like a sequential series or something.
It's blah blah blah, and then it's blee blee blee. It's completely different, but they go together.
I gotcha. Okay. Well, let's see here. So it's not console bound. And it was, I remember it was published by a Japanese company.
Published.
And it's not a fight. We asked if it was a fighting game, right? And it's not a fighting game.
It's not fighting. It's not platform. It's not third-person shooter.
And you control a human, but you also can control other things that aren't human. Okay.
Yes.
I tell you what, I'm going to pick off of whatever this game ends up being.
It has to be like an action or an adventure game. Because what's the point of picking different characters if it's not a fighting game?
They could be. I don't know. Maybe for effect of like the narrative or something like that. It's different people of. I don't know. I don't know. So
it has to be like a story, and it's based on who you pick.
Right.
And the only things like stories are actions and adventures.
That's not true, but racing games can have stories. I mean,
okay. Well then, did we ask if it's no?
We know it's not. We know it's not racing because.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I was just getting you're saying, any game can have a story.
I'm trying to add questions without asking them.
Right. We're trying to deduce.
Yeah. Talking out loud here.
Yeah. We got 3 questions left?
4 questions and then a guess.
4 questions and then a guess. Okay. So do we want to start? Well, I guess it's not, again, we asked if it's console bound, it's not a console bound. So it makes no sense to ask, like, is it Xbox only or is it one?
Right.
Are we taking mobile into account here?
Not before 2005.
Okay.
And is there any games that are on the PlayStation and Nintendo but not on Xbox? Because it's Japanese made, published?
There's probably some weird stuff going on there. That would make sense as a possibility.
At least back then. Like now it makes sense that it wouldn't matter.
Right. Let's see.
You guys are taking quite a long time.
Yeah.
We are sorry. This is good.
No, it's gonna tick us off once we find out what the game is.
It is.
You might guess it. Look out for guesses.
Is the game?
If you ask the right questions, I think you can really, really help yourselves. But that's on you.
Is the game? Is the game? I don't know what to ask anymore.
It's been like 3 minutes since you've asked the question.
Is the game? I'll just add a stupid one. Is the game rated? Is the game rated for mature audiences?
Let's see. Where can I find that?
Not on like the front cover.
I mean, it at least helps give us more of an idea of possibly the tenor. We could think of like more mature.
If if there isn't a rating, that means it's way before ratings were a thing. I have the original Mortal Kombat that doesn't have a rating.
And you know what? I'm sick of giving you guys clues, so all I'm going to say is no. That's all Jeremy asked. Is it a mature rating? No, it's not.
I appreciate that.
Okay. So it doesn't have a mature rating. It took him forever, and he didn't seem really confident that was actually a definitive thing. So perhaps this game doesn't have a rating.
Perhaps.
So it's an old game.
It's an old game where you're sometimes a person and you may control a vehicle.
So what is that? That puts us on Sega and Nintendo. Because ratings came out after Mortal Kombat.
Right. So then here's the thing. If we're talking Sega, if we're at Sega, I ain't got a shot. If we're at Sega level, I ain't got a shot. Especially if it's like you're saying it's not a platformer. You get to control a human, but also like a person. Me, Sega is like what? Like for me, it's like what?
Right, there's not much there.
There's other stuff, but it's Sonic, and there's like I forgot that one RPG with the triangle diamonds or whatever it's called. And I can't remember what that is right now. But yeah, I can't. I don't know. Should we just ask another question to further define time? When did Mortal Kombat come out? Like, what was that? 80 something or 90? When was that?
90, like 96, 94, 93.
Like the original Mortal Kombat?
The original Mortal Kombat.
Like it was earlier than that, right? It came out developed by Midway 92. It was 92. So did this game come out before 1992?
No.
Okay, so it just doesn't have a mature rating.
Right. Okay.
It doesn't have a rating.
It doesn't have a rating, but it came out when games were supposed. It came out after games started having ratings.
I mean, when did Mortal Kombat? Like, it must have taken some time for them to.
Yeah. We got it. And
ratings started in 1994.
Ah, okay.
So it was from 92 to 94 when this game was made.
Right, or just before 94, maybe. Okay. Why even? Is this? Did this game?
Yeah, the first issued rated game was in September of 94.
I'm wondering if this. I'm assuming this game came out in America. I'm assuming that.
That's fair. Okay, that's fair to assume that.
So, what kind of old game that wasn't rated would be something that David that you would have heard of or would know about? Where you're a human or possibly human.
It is part of a series. All right, it is part of a series. I did say that.
Series.
Right. I don't know, because the only games I can think of that you could possibly be a human and something else is Street Fighter 3, but that's a fighting game.
Right.
Or is it? That's a beat 'em up. Right? That doesn't count as a fighting game.
Yeah.
Because fighting games are like Tekken and Streets of Rage, right?
Well, Street Fighter was.
No, you got that a little wrong. Street Fighter is 100% a fighting game.
I would say that's a fighting game. I'd say
Streets of Rage would be
a beat 'em up.
That's what I'm saying.
So you said it opposite, but
that's what I'm saying. Like the fighting game is Tekken, Streets of Rage, Streets of.
No,
yeah, I did say that wrong. Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat. The beat 'em ups are like the TMNT games, Streets of Rage, Battletoads.
Maybe we could take.
Because other ones are like Ristar and Sonic, and
right.
You don't play humans in those ones.
Maybe we take a guess.
2 questions and a guess.
Maybe take a guess that it's
take a guess.
I mean, not a guess.
Oh,
but do we ask that it's like
a TNT? Know if it was Streets of Rage 3 because it would have the word 3 in it. He wouldn't have been unsure.
Right.
It was part of a series. It was. All right.
I know.
What about like TMT, right? Because they weren't necessarily like, hey, this is 2, this is 3. Like, it's technically.
Can you play April in any of those?
I'd have to assume you'd be able to play like April or one of the human characters in that.
Casey?
Yeah.
I don't know. I really don't know what to use for your last 2 questions.
Well, I'm gonna.
It does make sense because almost every game besides the exclusives were on Nintendo and Sega.
Right.
Beavis and Butthead, or whatever. Everything else is on both of them.
Right. Look, I'm gonna. If we're gonna zero in on Teenage Mutant,
you guys have taken so long on Legally Guessing.
Yeah.
Put me out of my misery, please.
What is it? Is it in the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle pantheon or universe?
No,
it's not. Okay.
You can't play as any humans in those original kind of beat 'em ups, David. You've been the MVP of this game, David. Jeremy has totally let you down.
These have been. We're going to find out the game.
You'll understand 100%.
No, 100% we will.
You will.
Okay.
You will.
So let's see here.
One question and a guess.
We got one more question. Question.
This one's on you, Jeremy. If you fail this, it's on you.
No, it's 100% on you. Let's see here. What's the last question that we're going to have? What's the last question here?
It is going to be.
Nothing screams good podcasting like silence.
Is it? I know. Is it 2D?
Jeez, man, that's a tough question. Too.
These are nonsensical replies to these questions.
It's a yes, I guess. Like I don't know. What do you? Can you move around on a 3D plane? Do you count that as a 3D game? That one where you can move? Then it's a 3D game. But like, if it came out today, you would definitely be like, oh, this ain't a. It's fine. So by your definition, you can move obviously up and down and left and right. So that makes it 3D.
Well, like, is it? I really don't know how to.
Like, to give an example, would you count those turtle games as 3D?
No.
Then no, it's not a 3D.
I'm thinking more like Zombies Ate My Neighbors.
That's a 3D game. But what makes it's
because you can move like in one like the ground. It's top view, but you're on the ground. You can move left, north, west, south, east.
It's a 2D game then. It's like yes, you would. It's like the Turtles or Zombie Ate My Neighbors. It would look something like that.
Well, Turtles and Zombies are the difference.
Which one is 3D to you? Zombies?
Zombies.
And Turtles isn't?
No, because Turtles is just straight left and right.
Actually, no, I think, I don't think this game's 3D. I recheck. It's not 3D.
Okay, so it's a 2D, it's a side-scroller game. I guess is it a side-scroller? Is what I should have said. I didn't know of the word.
Is it a side scroller? Yeah, I guess you could say that.
Cool. I guesses. All right, so that's it. That's all we got.
Like you can move on a 3D plane. Like you can move up and down, left and right. But it's like the Turtles. So you would not call that.
Yeah, you like walk upstairs kind of thing.
Oh no, I thought you were talking about the beat 'em up Turtles.
Yeah, like that's just side. Like you can go up and down the road a little bit.
Yes.
But you can't, like, go all the way across a yard or something like in Zombies Ate My Neighbors.
There is an X and Y axis on this game. It's not strictly left and right. You can go up a little bit. You can go down a little bit. It's like fake 3D. It's obviously not 3D because, as you guys said, it's on the Genesis or Nintendo. Like
I just want to apologize that my descriptions are very poor.
I mean, you guys will understand. You guys will understand everything after you figure out the game. After I tell you the game.
Okay. Do we want to make Dave? You want to take the guess? Final guess.
I don't know.
You don't know? I can offer a guess that I'm probably 100% sure it's going to be wrong.
That's fine. I don't even have a guess. Everything I want to guess, I know is wrong.
Why don't you say a couple of them out loud, just so I can have an idea of what it was?
Well, I was thinking like, this one where you're on a bed, some dreaming nightmare or something. I can't remember. Road rage, but you're always on a car or a motorcycle, so you would have known that. That's not it. Some like Mickey Mouse game, but that's only on Nintendo.
Leave the guessing to Jeremy.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, I'm gonna guess, which I know is wrong. I'm gonna guess Golden Axe.
Would you consider that 2D or 3D?
I would consider that. At gut reaction, I would consider it 2D.
I would consider it 2D as well. That is not correct. Brandon, you stumped him. Good job, buddy. This game, I think you definitely both know. You actually kind of shouted it out a little bit. It is Battletoads Double Dragons. The crossover of Battletoads and Dungeons & Dragons. Is that a series? Like, no, there's not a Battletoads and Double Dragons number 2, but they're both part of a series. So that's why, yeah, it's a series.
When can you play humans in that?
The Double Dragon.
So you have characters from the Double Dragon in there too?
Yes, it was a crossover. Double Dragon.
Oh, okay. See, I only knew of the original Battletoads.
No, it was Battletoads.
Came out.
Battletoads Double Dragon.
Interesting.
Every question, like I said, I answered all. It does. I don't remember playing it too much, but it does have one of the light bike sections. I figured it did, but I looked it up. It does have one of those, so there is that vehicle. Obviously, you play as a human, but like I said, not all the time. Is it 2D, 3D? I mean, you guys seen Battletoads? That's 2D. I would consider that 2D.
Up and down a little bit.
Right. So, Jeremy, are you okay? Like you're realizing that you lost you lost the game for yourself. Everything made sense. You just couldn't put the pieces together.
It was here's the thing. I appreciate our listeners, so I'm not going to say it's a terrible game choice. I'm not going to say that. I'm going to say that we got generally terrible responses to our questions. Okay.
What question? Name the question. I will definitely tell you the example of what question.
Well, for one, we had to have, I believe, a 7-minute conversation on what 2D versus 3D is. I mean, just gut reaction. You said you would say it's a 2D game.
Yeah.
So when we're trying to figure, well, is it 2D, but is it 3D in the 2D space, or is it 2D in the 3D space? That makes us question all the other games we could have possibly went to. Now, I will say a Battletoads Double Dragon crossover, I would have never guessed that.
Yeah, I didn't even know that happened.
Okay.
I mean, you guys know Battletoads.
Because even though that game happened, it sounds like a terrible idea.
On Sega.
What's that?
I have Double Dragon on Sega.
Okay, yeah, and
I did not know they crossed over with Battletoads.
I believe I had this game. I believe I owned it.
Yeah,
I remember liking it, but I don't have many memories of it. But
and that's what threw, because I had Double Dragon in mind, except it was you play sometimes human.
I don't know why you didn't follow up on that.
Double Dragon's a fighting game.
No, that's a beat 'em up.
Not the one I have.
You're definitely what I think they've only made beat 'em up Double Dragons. I think you're getting them confused. It was definitely a beat 'em up. That was almost like Streets of Rage, if I remember right.
The original Double Dragon is.
Well, which one's not?
Well, there's also the point that, I would say, here's the other thing. I would also say beat 'em ups is a genre of fighting game.
No. I mean, if I said yes to fighting, would that have helped you?
Yeah.
I don't think it would. No, you would have been. No, it would not have helped you.
I would contend beat 'em up is a genre of fighting game.
If you would have asked No, that's not. So would you say action games are fighting games?
How do you mean?
Action is its own.
For $40 the other day.
Action games are its own genre, right? Beat 'em ups are its own genre, but you said you would consider beat 'em ups fighting games, which is ridiculous. You've been saying a lot of ridiculous stuff today. But
what?
If I said it was a fighting game, that would have not helped you. You would have never pieced together the Turtle games or Double Dragon or Battle. It's not a fighting game.
That doesn't make any sense, because if you said that a game was primarily if you were controlling something or a vehicle game or something like that, you could say that a racing game is also something that's plausible as a mech game or as a airplane game. You're still controlling something. You're still controlling some piece of machinery. So I could say fighting, yeah, it may not be like, straight up just fighting regular, but if it's a game of what you're predominantly using like melee fighting skills, right?
Like you can God of War?
We can say
God of War?
You also use ranged weapons in God of War. You use weapons in God of War.
Really? What ranged weapon do you use in God of War?
Your axe operates as a ranged weapon in some instances. You can throw it and then call it back. Are you going to tell me that's not happening?
I mean, that does happen, but you get weapons in these games. You can't listen. This is a topic.
Is the primary cause of fighting in those games items you pick up, or are they your fists? You could say Sifu is kind of like a roguelite, but if you said it also happened to be a fighting game, I would say, yeah, it probably falls in that too. It's predominantly fighting.
I had Double Dragon 5.
Oh, wow.
That's a fighting game.
Yes. Is it really?
Yes, you pick characters like Mortal Kombat.
They probably did pivot after Mortal Kombat and stuff like that.
Yeah, so I had no idea the other ones were beat 'em ups.
Yeah, it stinks. They not just, but kind of recently they made Double Dragon Neon, which was a beat 'em up on the PS4, I think, and that got pretty good reviews. I think that was pretty.
They recently did a Contra, either remake or new game or something too, I think.
And then obviously Battletoads is a game that we played that we all liked.
Yeah,
or I liked. That's a beat 'em up. But yeah, going back, you would never consider a beat 'em up a fighting game. Fighting games are very defined. They have some sort of health bar.
Yep.
They have almost like a one-on-one or at most like a tag team system.
Yep.
This beat 'em up. Give respect to beat 'em ups. We reviewed like 7 beat 'em ups.
Yeah, we did.
You can't say they're fighting games.
They are fighting games. They absolutely are fighting games.
You know what? I want this to be the first topic in PvP.
Okay.
All right. I want Josh to judge.
We've never heard of the concept of a subgenre. That's never happened before.
I forgot when we were reviewing Battletoads. You're like, the fighting game.
It is a fighting game.
You know who calls those fighting games? Children that don't know better.
Beat 'em ups, but it's not a fighting game.
Man, what are you talking about? This is the worst take you've ever had.
This is an absurd statement.
This is the worst take you've ever had.
It's not the worst take. It makes 100%. It makes 100% sense, and we'll discuss it maybe not in the next PvP because I don't know.
This is the worst take you've ever had.
But it's going to be a topic of discussion that we do have because the idea that beat 'em ups are not a subgenre of fighting games is beyond my mind. You're saying health bars. You have health bars in beat 'em ups.
Most bad guys don't.
Yeah, most bad
guys don't. Only the bosses do, mostly.
Yeah, mostly. Yeah, I agree.
Why is beat 'em up a subgenre of fighting games? It would almost be like fighting games would be a subgenre of beat 'em ups. Beat 'em ups were more prevalent at the time. There wasn't a
fighting. Now it is. Fighting is a more general. It's more general descriptor of it.
Now, back in the day, there was beat 'em ups all over the place. There was dozens, and there was very few fighting games. So for you to suddenly say beat 'em ups are fighting games, no, you would have to say fighting games are beat 'em ups, and that's 100% not true.
I wouldn't say that.
Of course you wouldn't, because it'd be idiotic.
I wouldn't say that, and I would say the popularity of the Mortal Kombat arcade game was 10
Listen, they're both made from potatoes, but one's fries and one's hash browns.
Yeah, they're made by potatoes in the regards of they're made by a computer, so everything is made by a potato. Every game starts from a certain spec.
They're close, but they're not close enough.
No, beat 'em ups are closer. Beat 'em ups are closer. They're closer to Devil May Cry, Bayonetta, God of War than they are to Street Fighter. They're not. There's no big combos to be had like that.
I wouldn't agree with that. I wouldn't agree.
Yes, you would. You're just disagreeing.
Guys, tell us. You guys let us know how wrong Cory is on this one. Is magnitudes of degrees. I would say. I would argue that this is maybe one of the wrongest you've been in a while, which is surprising. But I guess that concludes Legally Guessing. Thank you again, Brandon, for the game and for listening. Really appreciate it. Yeah, man. Sorry it took so long, but we were really trying to figure out that game. Anyway, we're done with the games, which means we've landed to the segment before the end, which is our final thoughts. And that's where we want to give a final thought that we want to make either related or unrelated to this podcast episode. So, who would like to give their final thought first?
I would love to keep harping on beat 'em ups, but that's okay. I mean, I would love to see a fighting game that has levels, because beat 'em ups have levels.
Okay.
But anyways, my final thought is a month ago maybe I had mentioned how like my dream game would be a mature Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles game.
Mm-hmm.
Recently, it's come out that they're making a mature Turtles game. Yes. Last episode, I said they should really just remake the Street Fighter game movie. It has come out. They are making the Street Fighter movie. I am a prophet. If you want me to make something happen, let me know, and I will speak it into existence. So I actually got one of those requests for a turn-based RPG. Let's put Legend of Dragoon remake coming out very soon. Make it happen, world.
Okay. Cory willing things into existence.
Okay, I'll do that next. I'll do that for you, man. I got you.
Appreciate it.
Final thoughts. You want to give yours next, Dave, or should I?
I'll go.
All right.
So recently, as we stated, Resident Evil 4 came out, and being a collector as I am, I got the collector's edition.
With the statue?
Yes.
Wow.
But I had to choose between systems because they don't have collector's editions on PC. I think they should have collector's editions for PC.
I would.
So what you're saying is we are doing a Resident Evil 4 giveaway for what system, David?
No, I'm keeping it, but it's for the Series X or whatever, the Xbox one.
Yeah.
Check out our Twitter.
Yeah, check out the Twitter. Cory is going to attempt to give away David's collection.
David's Resident Evil.
I will lock it in the box.
My final thought is, I mentioned it earlier in the podcast. They had announced, I think, a couple of weeks ago that City Skylines 2 is going to be coming out this year, I think. There's so much buzz and excitement around this game. I'm very encouraged by it. The fact that it is it's published by Paradox and they're a fairly large publisher, but still, I would say it's somewhat of an indie, semi-indie, I guess, or like a smaller major release or whatever. But super excited to see all the different changes they've made. They released so many freaking DLCs for the first City Skylines. There's got to be, no lie, 100 of them. So the fact that they're going to be implementing a lot of those ideas into the next one and the base game, it's going to be super sweet. I plan on upgrading my rig anyway, so I'm going to make sure that it's upgraded in time for City Skylines 2 so I can play that. It's going to be so pretty. So pretty.
The first one we played for the podcast before, right?
We did.
Yeah.
We did. Okay, I was making sure. Okay.
Yeah. And so, I haven't put as many hours in it to be as excited for it as I am, you would think, because I think I've put maybe 35, 40 hours in that game, and that's a game where you can easily put hundreds of hours into it. But I just got Software Inc. kind of took that away. So, excited for that. That is my final thought, which means we have finally reached the end of level 58 of the Thoughts and Players podcast. If you liked what you heard, especially that last bit, because that became a debate I wasn't anticipating.
Watch it on TikTok. You put it on TikTok, we're going to get a lot of hits on that.
Yeah, probably mostly of people telling me I'm wrong. You can go ahead and follow us. We're on Facebook at facebook.com/Thoughts and Players, like it's all one word. I will say that now thinking back on what I just said, I don't think I'm as wrong as you think I am, but I do think I am more wrong than I think I am. Anyway,
you're wrong, but it's people could look at it a certain way. They're not related. There's a lot of differences, but
progressive thinkers here.
Yes. What do you do in the game? You fight. Someone might call it a fighting game. Mm-hmm. It's not. There's a certain classification for fighting games. We will virtually shake hands.
It could be tomato, or it could be tomato.
David, you sound like you're hungry.
I'm always hungry.
You sound like AI generated.
Sounds like you sound like Chat GPT's personified. We are also on Instagram, thoughts.players. We are on Twitter, thoughtsplayer2. I would say check that out because I'm pretty sure Cory's going to put up a poll of our debate topic. We are also on YouTube, where you'll find the video version of this podcast. And where else are we at? We're also on all the podcasting platforms. Should probably leave with that. We're not on OnlyFans, but we are on Patreon. That's right. We are on Patreon at Thoughts Players. We have 3 tiers, $2, $5, $7 tier. If you want to be a thinker, a player, or an all-around slayer, you check that out if you want to support us. But if not, just a listen, a like, a share, a view. All of that helps. We appreciate the support. That is it for me. Fellas, you want to say anything else?
Peace. Goodbye.
Peace. We'll see you on the next level.